But when you do actually understand and identify that innate talent, I think is the word I would use, right? Because we all have something that we naturally are good at, okay? I'm not naturally good at numbers, so I'm so grateful Lord did not insist we did maths, because that would have been a big problem, right? But I'll give an example with my kids. One of my daughters writes very well. She actually has published an anthology of poems. My other daughter is a very good athlete, right? She's a very good artist. She draws, actually both of them. My professor of a son, which is what we call him, he's very quiet, very introspective, and you can see his computer sort of interest coming in, right? And my other daughter too. So it's more like you're trying to juggle, okay, which one should I nurture, which one? But I think if you create that enabling environment that they can actually feel free to express themselves. To say, okay, let me try this. I mean, I don't mean like you skip and hop over the different things, but you do identify and say, okay, like this 3 or 4, I think, or even 2, this looks like a good chance, right? That this child will be able to enjoy it, right? Not just enjoy, because that's critical for the child to be able to enjoy it, but also to say, if I took this person to a professional who understands, who has the expertise in that particular, would they also see the same thing I see in my child? Okay, I'll give you a practical example. So I'm sure like most of us, so my kids will come and before it to be, oh, I'm interested in the piano, the guitar, blah, blah, blah. So one day I say, okay guys, that's it. We're not buying any flute again or any guitar or anything. If you decide, I say you're at the point now where you can see that you are actually interested, right? If you really show that interest, I will look for the money and buy that piano for you, and we will sit down together. And they said, I said, yes, I am interested in learning the piano. But if you do show me your interest and capacity and capability to actually sit down and practice, you know, the 10,000 hours you've heard about in the outliers, if you're able to do that, I'll look for the money and buy that piano. Yeah. So it's actually nurturing your child and giving them that enabling environment that would allow them to be free to express themselves.
Wow.
I got that as a child, and I'm trying to do that for my kids.
So would you advise every parent out there looking at you right now to say, this is something you need to do, parent? Or you're going to say, yeah, so you just let them be laissez-faire, you know?
Je vous invite à venir à l'Alliance française. Viens mon frère, viens ma sœur, à l'Alliance française.
À l'Alliance française.
Venez, venez,
apprendre le français. Venez à l'Alliance française.
j'ai appris. Après l'anglais, les français disent langue étrangère, la plus large j'ai appris.
Après l'anglais,
la connaissance du français ouvre des portes, des entreprises en France,
comme à l'étranger.
la connaissance du français ouvre des portes, des entreprises en France,
Comme à l'étranger,
le français la langue de la culture,
la langue internationale pour la cuisine.
la mode, les théâtres, les habitués, la danse et l'architecture. Le français la langue de la culture, la langue internationale pour la cuisine, la mode, les théâtres, les habitués,
La danse et l'architecture.
oh, oh, oh,
Oh, I love France.
oh,
Oh, I speak French.
oh, oh,
Oh, I love France.
oh,
Oh, I speak French.
I love France,
Oh,
I love
I
France,
love France.
I speak French,
Oh,
I speak
I
French,
speak French.
I love French,
Oh,
I love
I
French,
love French.
I speak French,
Oh,
I speak
I
French,
speak French.
oh,
Oh, I love French.
oh,
Oh, I speak French. Venez, apprends le français. Venez à l'Alliance française.
venez, venez,
Venez, apprends le français.
venez, venez,
Venez à l'Alliance française.
venez à Kamocha,
Venez,
ou
apprends le
Kotosti,
français.
Claude Sekandé,
Venez à l'Alliance française.
venez dans la grande famille, venez, oh,
Apprends le
oh, oh,
français.
venez mes amis,
Venez à l'Alliance française. Bien Molière, c'est l'idiot Nambabi. En passant par Ayana Kamura. Pourquoi tu penses que les Français tirent la internationale?
Que tu sois fondé autour du four, du plaisir. Dis-moi le bonheur en abondant et là,
En pleine évolution.
venez,
Venez, apprendre les Français.
mes amis, venez,
Venez à l'Alliance française.
la langue française,
Venez,
la langue de
apprendre les
paix,
Français.
la langue de la courtoisie,
Venez à l'Alliance française.
la langue française,
Venez,
la langue de la
apprendre les
courtoisie,
Français.
la langue de paix.
Venez à l'Alliance française.
Venez dans la grande famille, venez à l'Alliance française, venez apprendre le français.
Venez à l'Alliance française.
Je vous invite à venir, venez mes
Apprendre
amis,
le français.
venez, venez,
Venez à l'Alliance
venez,
française.
venez. Tout le monde parle français,
Parlez français.
parle français,
Parlez français.
everybody parle français,
Parlez français.
everybody, bina moke, bina moke, bina moke,
Bina Mouké.
everybody, bina moke,
Bina Mouké.
bina à gauche,
Bina à gauche.
bina à droite,
Bina à droite.
bina devant,
Bina devant.
bina derrière,
Bina derrière.
bina devant,
Bina devant.
Parlez français.
Parlez français.
Parlez français.
Parlez français.
Parlez français. Venez, venez.
Venez à parler français. Venez à l'Alliance française.
Je vous invite à venir. Venez à parler français. À Kamochao.
Venez à l'Alliance française.
À Bukoto Street.
Venez
Claude
à parler français.
Venez, venez, venez.
Venez à l'Alliance française.
Si tu veux parler français, viens à
À
l'Alliance.
parler français.
Si tu veux parler,
Venez à l'Alliance française.
si tu veux entrer dans la famille, viens,
À
viens,
parler
viens.
français.
Viens, viens, viens.
Venez à l'Alliance française.
Mbakumbuze igitaramo cy'iwacu. Iwacu turatarama ngwino urare. Iwacu turatarama ngwino urare. Iyo dukoze ku nyamirya iz'ubuhuha n'inkomangano biratwizihira cyane. Mpamagare muhigirwa ni Nyaruguru mu muhamirizo w'intore, mu muhamirizo w'intore. Sebaganji babukwege aseruke mu byivugo byiza. Mpamagare Sebatunzi ayihere mu miyuki akubwira intaha na batatu yaruta mu kinyange cyarutiruka mu bakemba, mu bakemba. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka. Iwacu turatarama ngwino urare. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka. Turatarama ngwino urare. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka.
Epana biso tolinga kobina. Epana biso tolinga kosepela. Ka elongo tolinga tosepela, tosangisa pe tolingana.
Tugusogogeze ku ntango y'amahoro. Kwibutsa umugani wa Nyashya na Baba, inkuru yasa ruhara rwa nkomokomo cacana ndetse na ngunda tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka ari iwacu turatarama ngwirurare aho dutaramiye nta rungu tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka turataramiye ijoro tukaridahanze jya mbere wampaye inka cyuringanje reka ntugatsikire cyuringanje nuko umuco wacu ntugacindishe itaranto hariho umutware yaratunze cyane afite n'abagaragu kera kabaye agira uruzinduko mu kindi gihugu ahamagara abagaragu be maze abasigira ubutunzi bwe umwamuha itarane eshanu undi amuha ebyiri undi amuha itarane imwe itagirira kabiri maze umutwara arazinduka maze babagaragu batangira gukoresha za carano nk'uko shebuja yazibasigiye uwahawe shana aragenda arazigenza agenzura amesha hano uwahawe ebyiri nawe abigenza atyo agenzuramo ebyiri maze wa wundi wahawe imwe aragenda acukura icobo ayishamo ya tarano aratinyuka arayitabaye nuko imitsi irayitindira ataha maze shebuja mu kuzindukuruka abarana nabo ibyo yabasigiye uwahawe shana araseruka ati databuja mwiza wansigiye shanu uzungutse izindi eshanu uwahawe ebyiri nawe araseruka ati databuja mwiza wansigiye ebyiri zungutse izindi ebyiri shebuja ati bagaragu banje beza nuko kuko mwakiranutse muri bike nico gitumye mbegurira byinshi ico nimuze mwinjire mu munezero wa shobuja maze wa wundi wahawe itarantimwe itagiriye kabiri aramfata cane ati databuja narinzi kuri umunyamwaga usarura utabibye na munagane itaranto narayitavye mu butaka dore ngiyo fata ibyawe maze shebuja aramusubiza ati mbe mugaragu mubi niko wamunyabutewe ese ni wari ukwiye kuyiha abagenza maze nkasanga inyungu yayo nuko shebuja arayimwambura ayigabira wa wundi wungutse itara n'icumi igiye mu zindi agira 11 kuko ufite wese azongererwa ariko udafite azanyagwa n'utwo yari afite maze wa mugaragu mubi baramuboha bamujugunya mu mwijima hanze azize ubupapa mbega agahinda we itaranto yawe yikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye itaranto yawe yikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye mbese gufasha abakene gusura abarwayi bikorwa by'urukundo gushigikirana imirimo myiza igihe twahawe aya mafaranga nizo taranto twasigiwe ngo zigire umumaro igihe tukiriho itaranto yawe iyikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye itaranto yawe yikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye
Do you think this relationship, this new direction from France, actually should be taken serious by the Africans?
Definitely. I think if the French were not really engaged and ready to, to create this new paradigm with all the young people in Africa, they wouldn't have invested so much into this whole conversation. I think what is important is really to recognize the fact that France has had a lot of trouble in Africa, given its Francophone territory in West Africa. And then it had also had a lot of disconnection from the Anglophone, the Lusophone, and the Spanish-speaking African countries. So when you find the investments that France make in the Francophone Africa are not the same investments or opportunities that are in the Anglophone Africa and the Lusophone Africa, when we talk about the Portuguese-speaking African countries like Mozambique and Angola. So they are realizing that, okay, if we have people in Africa, they're not only living in the Francophone African countries, but they're also living in the Anglophone countries. And I think the strategy here, this is my observation, is that it's not that it's going to be a direct government engagement with young people. No, I think that's why they brought in partners like INPay, which is an investment agency. They brought in like AFD, which is the French development agency. They brought in Organization of Francophonie countries. They brought in Institut Français. These are the gatekeepers. These are the people who are going to be dealing with us, the young people. And the conversations were about, okay, what is AFD doing? And for me, it was very interesting to find that we've known AFD as a development agency for France, but investing in big businesses, infrastructure, roads, government and projects, but they had never thought about the creative industry. And for them to have this conversation, influenced by the French policies on how to engage with the new Africa, and also realizing that their politics has not worked, but the many young people now are taking over in Mali, in Gambia, they are realizing that these young people, they don't know what's going on with them. They need to get to tap into their knowledge and see what's going on in their heads so that they can also understand them as well as support them.
Ugandan products are seen, however good a Ugandan product is, in the eyes of the people, it's always going to be mediocre. Okay, we always say, man, these things are made in Uganda. Okay, so I think the same could be applied to the coffee in Uganda. How can we change people's perspective? Because I believe that if I say put a coffee from Uganda, very good coffee, and I brought another, let's say from the States, someone will obviously run towards the one of the States without even analyzing which one could be better. Just that the fact that this is made in Uganda. How can we change the perspective, okay, of Ugandans to actually start supporting Ugandan products, in reference to the coffee industry?
So that's a good one. Actually, it's not only Ugandans struggling with that. Many countries also, the Israelis think foreign is best. Yet for us, we look up to Israelis. So it's a common thing amongst citizens of different countries. You think foreign is good because it has come all the way to here, champagne and all that stuff. Yeah. So one thing is the Ugandan people also have to imitate the standards of the competitors. Yeah. I look at coffee brands. You reach the supermarket, you look at how we are branding Ugandan coffee, and I will assure you that 90% of them are not going to cross the border to even Kenya. We have that cliche packaging of valve packs. It's standard, yes, we understand. It's standard for coffee, but you all having the same thing. Yeah. When I was at university, at the Chamber University Coffee Association, and Meiko and Haman and the members, we created a brand, but also used the same valve packaging. It's something we did at undergraduate, but you find someone has invested 1 billion, but still packaging in 1 million, 1 million kind of packaging. Yeah. We need to imitate excellence if we can't make excellent products, if we can't make excellent packaging. Get our coffee, package it like they do. I usually give an example of, you've seen how the Vietnamese pack their coffee, or the Thailand pack black ivory coffee. Yeah. This is not expensive packaging, but you just have to have the patience of understanding packaging and branding. Let me give you an example. We used to do the packaging, valve packs, put a sticker. Yeah. Take it to the supermarket. The supermarket will tell you, we are not paying you until we sell. I used to be mad. Haman was our marketing manager. We used to be mad that they are not paying us. They're actually surviving on us. Yeah. But after since they were taking our coffees, adding it down the shelf, with other many brands of the same packaging. Yeah. Then they put the foreign brands at the corner where there's maximum attention. And the foreign brands, of course, they are paying cash upfront. For us, first sell and then pay you. Okay. In the end, the coffee gets stale. Now, when a consumer comes to the supermarket, and I know many guys who don't take supermarket coffee, is that you go to the supermarket, you're buying coffee that has spent 3 months, 6 months. It is stale. Yeah. Because of the packaging, and also the grocery managers have put them down in the Kayola. Yeah. So if you have to attain the boo-boo, if you have to boost coffee consumption and people support our brands, we need to do top-notch packaging, world-class packaging.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about what we presented at the World Coffee Expo. To be sure no one is going to buy it, or no one will even take it for free.
Yeah.
Because it is so cliche. This is packaging of 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But the good news is that there are few Ugandans who are aiming for excellence, looking for that, niche packaging, and they are getting markets in Europe and North America.
Yeah.
We can do the same. That's how we're going to compete with, Brazil and Vietnam.
Yeah.
What is leadership to you?
Well, leadership is number one, walking the talk. I think there are too many people who talk the talk, but not enough people walk the talk. So you have to be a leader. Leadership has to be seen. It has to be felt. It's something you have to learn from. Leadership is being responsible for, your actions, your decisions, being able to back them up, being able to see other people's strengths, to bring out the best in your team, your family, your friends. That's leadership. You have to be able to identify people's unique talents, unique gifts, and bring out the best in them. To me, that's what I think of leadership.
What can the men do, to promote women's sports, or basketball for that matter?
Yes, so today morning, someone told me, he made research, actually my brother, that these days the NBA actually facilitates the WNBA games to see that they're also somewhere. How about the NBL men starts doing something, not totally like investing in and all that, but it can be with the support system. It can be one very good thing, seeing that creating more opportunities for these ladies, putting up different games so as women can be seen or showing that these guys also care. It can start with support, and then with time they can also recommend whoever facilitates them to partially have his thoughts somewhere on the women's team, so that they can all go about together in solidarity. I think that can work. I don't think it's something big. It can start with support and then financially with time.
If you create a space which enables people to think and thrive, that's a bonus. Before I started working officially, I used to do a lot of freelance work. And as a young freelancer, my laptop was on my back. And I didn't have an internet connection. I didn't have an office desk. It was difficult for me to work at home. So what I did is I would go and sit in a restaurant, buy some tea or breakfast, and ask for a Wi-Fi password. And then I would sit there and have my breakfast slowly, as I did my work and I sent work to clients and everything, But before long, lunchtime, it would be lunchtime, and they would
be forced to eat also.
They would bring you a lunch menu. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So when you find a space where people can come and sit and pay for a full day.
10,000, I'm told.
Yes, you see, that is creativity. Because the owner of this building or the owner of this space knows that people, there's a certain segment of the market that can't afford to rent a premises per square meter or 10 square meters or 100 square meters. and pay monthly, and bring their own furniture, their own internet connection, carpeting, light and everything, a working bathroom, and then lunch for staff members. So they think about it creatively and they say, how many people can this space take? 100 people per day. Okay, good. If each of those people pays 10,000 per day, and they come and have access to the internet, and a nice chair and a desk, and a good environment where they can concentrate and deliver, that is brilliant. That is creativity in the workplace.
What is Divine Bamboo in a nutshell?
Okay, so Divine Bamboo is an innovative forestry and energy company. It's a Ugandan company, and our mission is to stop deforestation in Uganda. We do that through the promotion of bamboo as a sustainable alternative to cutting down traditional hardwoods. So that was my motivation really, because Uganda is losing so much tree cover, we are losing so much forest because mainly of the need to cook. So because of fuel wood in the form of charcoal and firewood, a lot of people don't have a choice but to go to the forest and cut down trees. And so we wanted to provide an alternative to that. Okay.
And so when you started to provide an alternative to this, how has this been received by the people that you're talking to?
So of course, with any new innovation, it's not straightforward. You don't get the idea today and then the idea is mature. First of all, the idea, the business model takes time to develop. And in the same way, the audience, the customers also need time to adapt to the new products and like the new plant in this case. So it's a gradual process, but I would say that we are seeing very positive change.
Okay.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials. And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
what is Divine Bamboo in a nutshell?
Okay. So Divine Bamboo is an innovative forestry and energy company. It's a Ugandan company. And our mission is to stop deforestation in Uganda. We do that through the promotion of bamboo as a sustainable alternative to cutting down traditional hardwoods. So that was my motivation really, because Uganda is losing so much tree cover. We're losing so much forest because mainly of the need to cook. So because of fuel wood in the form of charcoal and firewood, a lot of people don't have a choice but to go to the forest and cut down trees. Yeah. And so we wanted to provide an alternative to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you started to provide an alternative to this, how has this been received by the people that you're talking to?
So of course, with any new innovation, it's not straightforward. Yeah. You don't get the idea today and then the idea is mature. Yeah. First of all, the idea, the business model takes time to develop. Yeah. And in the same way, the audience, the customers also need time to adapt to the new products and like the new plant in this case. So it's a gradual process, but I would say that we are seeing very positive change.
Okay. Welcome to the program. My name is Eddie Okila and this is the CEO Bench on this particular morning, afternoon, evening, depending on which part of the world you're actually watching the program from. We would like to take this moment to say welcome to the program. Today we are flying all the way to Nigeria. Oga is in the studio and we are going to be talking about things that are about food, cross-cultural learning for peace building, using food, law, order, everything that is needed in there. Of course, the CEO Bench is live on House of Talent Television. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Join me in welcoming Miss Linda T. Bot, all the way from Nigeria in Kampala, the Bight of Benin. Linda, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Love your welcome.
Learning from the gurus of things. You Nigerians are the 200 million people.
And counting.
Yes, and counting. And if you find a one Linda is also there, and she's also hard, you know that she has been working hard.
Well, we have to. They're 200. You have to step out. Else hunger will kill you.
Yes,
but thank you. Love to be here.
Thank you so much, Linda, and welcome to the program. So to start with, Linda, we want to know you a little bit more from the ancestral point of view. Who is Linda T. Bot, and what does the word T stands for? Bot is like a German name, not a Nigerian African name. What's up? What's going on around you? Who are you? What are you? What are the values that define you as a person?
Okay, so Linda T. Bot is a Nigerian lawyer. I'm here with my family. I call them, I'm the cheerleader of the Bot clan of 4 children. My husband is also a lawyer, but he doesn't practice. He works in the development sector. T actually stands for, it's Tersan, with the emphasis on the R, and it literally means to move your body. And I think my grandmother predicted that because she was the one that named me. So I found myself moving my body from place to place.
Yes, to different places, yes. All right, we want to just go straight to, in Nigeria, how do you people, describe yourself?
Wow, that's a tall order. We're 200 million people, remember. Yes. We're resilient. I know it's been an abused word, but we are resilient. We're hungry, hungry to do stuff. We're very friendly. We're very outgoing. We take chances. We seize opportunities. We're very forthwith. I think some people don't like that. Some people see that as being brash. Yeah. But for the average Nigerian, and I'd say it cuts across West Africans, what you see is what you get. We'll tell you upfront what we feel. We take you. Literally, we adopt you and your entire family, or whoever is your other person. Yeah. You offend us, we tell you, and then we move on. Okay. Yeah.
And the other thing that we want to know very much from you, what is like the African roots of Linda T-Boat from Nigeria, from that wider perspective?
So I'm from Plateau State. It's one of the states in the middle belt of Nigeria. We're part of the food basket. Kampala actually reminds me of my home capital, which is Jos. It's not hilly like Kampala, so you can't build on the slopes, but it's rocky. The weather is sort of similar, but we get less rain. It's drier. We have our own version of winter, if you will. So from October up to February, we have the Harmattan winds, common similar foods and everything. We grow quite a lot. So I'm from Plateau State, half Mernyang, half Ankwe. I speak Hausa, but like I mentioned, Hausa is a trading language across sub-Saharan Africa. So it's a commercial language for most of us from the Middle Belt and from the north. I'm not Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa, because I know that's next you'll ask.
That's the only people we know in Nigeria. You're either Yoruba, you're either Ebukland, you know.
Igbo,
we don't know
Hausa.
you guys. You guys are not,
well,
you don't exist.
We do exist, thank you very much.
These guys take everything from Nigeria. We only know for
No, I think because it is one of the official languages. So I think people know that, well, I wouldn't say official language, it was one of the major tribes. So Yoruba, Igbo and Hausa, then you have a lot of the minorities. Mine is one of the minorities. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking to Linda T-Boat. You coming to the CEO bench. Please get your seat ready and sit back, relax for a great ride with Linda. And today we are talking about, change management, leadership and transformation. What do you do from a leadership perspective? And we're going to dive into this interview very quickly with Linda. Linda is the founder and the co-founder and the CEO of Bight of Benin, a Ugandan Nigerian restaurant based in Kampala, or a West African restaurant based in Kampala, the capital of Uganda. And of course, serving the greater, wider perspective of the West African dishes in Kampala. Linda, let's start the program from a very lighter note of what is your understanding of leadership?
Leadership for me means you're being able to immerse yourself and get your team, not staff. I've learned that's a very different, they're both different terms, and I'll tell you why. When you immerse yourself as a leader, you're willing to sort of get in the trench with your team and get them to buy the vision behind the structure you've set up or the business you've set up. Yeah. I think then you've achieved, or you are on your way to achieving what it is you want to do with the type of business you have. The reason why I said there's a difference between staff and team is your staff is a body there, do this, do that, and they'll just follow and clock out. Okay. But your team will understand the vision and actually run with it. Perhaps even run with it better than you yourself envisioned. Okay. Yeah.
And Linda, on that note, are you a leader? Do you consider yourself a leader?
I think I'm learning how to, and I'll say I'm working on my impatience. I've been giving feedback about my impatience and that, and impatience in the sense that I know what it is I want. Perhaps we've all discussed it, and if it doesn't happen within Linda's 2 minutes, then I sort of take it away from you and try to do it myself. So I'm trying to pace myself and understand or allow others to move forward and do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then so let's talk about self-leadership for that matter. I mean, ability of a human being to appoint self, to give self meaning and to move is what we call self-leadership. Do you think that from a very early childhood you have been leading self? And if yes, how?
Interesting. How would I put that? I've always been one of the smallest physical size across school for me, and even within my family. So I've always sort of pushed my head out, like, oh, you must see me, I'm here, I'm trying to do stuff, right?
Just like with this, with all the little people, the short people, they're always struggling to be noticed.
Well, let me put it, I'm not short, I'm aspiring. And I hear fresh Ugandan beans also helps with the height issue,
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm chowing down on that.
Yes, you miss the rain of growing taller in Africa.
No.
Yes,
You see, it's a season, so I think my season is coming. I haven't given up.
Yes. But go back to it, yes.
Yeah. So I think in lots of ways, I think growing up, watching various family members or other people in the spheres where they worked in, I think has helped me to do that, to become self-aware in being a leader.
Okay.
But like I say, it's a learning process for everybody, and I think it's something that one always has to sort of tweak, and because if you stop doing that, then I think you lose track of being a leader there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to sort of pick it from there, what is self-leadership to Linda as a person?
It's being able to move myself from my comfort zone, right? And decide, okay, or perhaps put myself in a situation where I can see myself, at the risk of repeating it, is, so I'm in a comfort zone, but then decide, okay, if this is where I want to be, or this new area I want to move into, right? What do I need to learn as a person, right? To lead myself into that spot and be able to lead or allow others to lead me on that. I think that is how I would describe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you been leading yourself?
Sometimes, not always successful.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but I think it's also part of learning.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's part of learning.
Okay. I want to just take you straight to my next question, Linda, which is a question that people usually don't find it easy, when we're talking about leadership. They always struggle to answer it. And leadership has different dimensions. There's a leadership approach that we often look into quite very eminently when we are leading as leaders. And we want to believe that you're a leader because you picked yourself from your village where you are, and then you went through school like everybody else does. But then you found yourself in Congo, in Turi, in Ghana, and then in where?
Here now.
In Togo where?
No, here now.
And now in Uganda.
Yeah.
All of this is about leadership. You won't be able to do this if you're not using leadership to say, I need to give myself meaning, I need to do this, I need to move this, I need to move this, move this. There are many things that you've gone through in that process. And we just want to know from you, what is that one type of leadership that you use quite a bit to make decisions as a person, as Linda, going forward?
In which aspect?
In your journey, every journey, from as a lawyer. First of all, you're a lawyer, which we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
And then we'll get to that point when you talk about you being in food business. Those are completely two different places. But I want to talk about leadership. There's a transform. Leadership has 5, types that are commonly used. And maybe perhaps I'll break it down to you and then you'll pick which one. You tell us which one you use.
I hope I can fit into one box.
Yes. So there is laissez-faire type of leadership. Laissez-faire, things are done, as the word sounds, you already know it as a French speaker. And there is what we call democratic leader or leadership approach. It's a type of leadership that most people use, but there is also what we call autocratic leadership approach, which is often described as the much leadership approach used in Africa, as a continent at the moment. Then we have what we call a transformative leader or transformative leadership approach, which looks at transforming things at all time, every time, that leader is always doing something around that space. And then the 5th one is what we call a servant leader. We also know those who
it's an abused term in Africa.
Abused term in Africa, like you said. Which of these 5 do you use most? In fact, if at all, we want you to pick 3.
That's very interesting, and the reason why I say that is my daughter is currently doing a research to make a presentation on that, and we actually had this discussion last week, but she was looking at it from the perspective of world leaders. I think I'll say I have bits of it in me. Democratic, I try to, especially being in the food industry now, I've literally done almost like a 360 from my legal training to understand, okay, what you were legalizing there is not transferring here, right? Yes. So to be able to give my staff, what do you call it, to give them the space to be able to say and discuss an idea that either they've brought or have brought, right? And then for them to actually say, okay, we have looked at your idea, these are the reasons why it will work or will not work, and we're moving ahead with that. Yeah. It's not often easy to do that. Yeah. I think I have a bit of autocracy in me. I've gotten feedback from my kids, family. Because sometimes it's maybe the urgency of what needs to be decided, and you find whether or not your staff is with you, you just drag them and say, come along, let's go do this, right? Laissez-faire, no, not at all.
Why?
Then if that's like, it's like letting loose a toddler. If you're going to, you understand, because your business needs structure and systems. If you're going to let it run free, then I don't think it's going to work in the final run. And even being autocratic, you have to learn to sort of ease back a bit and let people do what you've actually engaged them to be able to do. It's a human impatience factor, I think, and I have a lot of that in me. Servant leader, like I said, it's been abused a lot, so I won't even go there.
Why wouldn't you go there, Lynn?
Because it's been abused. You know, I think it's just a phrase that people throw out, oh, I'm a servant leader. But when you ask, what exactly is a servant leader? It's hard for them to define it. And if you don't understand the definition, then you're just parroting what you think is in vogue. To go ahead with.
Okay, in about a minute or so, we're going to take a break. But I just want to ask you this question to sort of like wrap up the leadership discussion. Africa. You've been across
54 countries.
Yes, there are 54 countries in Africa. And what is your understanding of leadership from the African perspective, from the leadership of a country, of a continent? What would you describe our leadership like?
Our expectation or the reality?
Both. What are our expectation and what is the reality on the ground, and what would be your ideal, you know, sort of like the type of leadership we should have in the African continent, given your, you know, background as a person who has been able to move across the three continents at least?
I'd say being able to engage with citizens, I think, is just like engaging in a company, right? It's not rocket science. If you provide the structure, in this case it would be governments provide like the regulatory framework, right? If you do provide that and provide an enabling environment, so you have power in place, the basics, right? Education, more importantly. Effective education. And when I say that, we've always had this argument of if you had critical thinking as being part of a curriculum in African countries, in African schools, right, it will be transformative, right? So government provides the regulatory framework and then moves out of the way to enable the citizens to elect people who will actually represent them. So the moment that people know that I'm in this office representing these people that have put me there, I'm accountable to them. Not that I'm lording it over them, which unfortunately happens in a lot of the countries. Then I think we will have a good shot at having some form of leadership in Africa. Good transformative.
Okay, so that's your ideal of a leader.
That's the ideal.
And what do you think? You didn't talk about our expectations before, the expectation versus reality.
That's also part of the expectation. Reality, I think we should go for that.
We want to hear the reality of the
The reality, unfortunately, and it's very sad, is Africa has one of the youngest population on the continent. Where's everybody going to fit in? And when I say fit in is, what will they do? Okay? Education, which is, I wouldn't call it a leveler, because I've met people who are not formally educated. My grandmother was not formally educated, but what she's done in her life is amazing, and we, the grandkids, we're still trying to catch up on that, right? So I wouldn't say education is a leveler. It depends on which sector you're going into. But my expectation is, I paid my taxes as a citizen. I expect the barest minimum. Make sure things are working in order. If I get involved in the election process, not as a candidate, but to vote you, the candidate, in, then your election promises that you discussed with us, I presume, should actually come into play. Not every 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, whatever term is, we regurgitate the same thing and expect to have something different as a result.
Yeah. And you've studied in Europe, which we're going to get into in a little bit. I mean, what was your understanding of leadership from the Italian, from European perspective when you studied there?
So I studied in
versus what we have in Africa.
In Turin. And you see that, okay, so this is it, right? Most of the systems work, transport and all that. I mean, it reached a point where I stopped getting the bus and the train pass because I just bought a bicycle and rode all over Turin, right? It worked. The systems work, of course, everybody has their particular issues. But if you can't have, and you wonder, like, what is different that you can't have that work in an African setting, comes down to leadership. Because you will notice, and I'm sure probably most of the countries have the regulatory framework. The problem is implementation, always is implementation.
Okay.
If we get that right, I think we'll have a good shot of doing something really amazing in Africa.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Linda. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on this program. This is a CEO Bench. We're talking to Linda Thibault, who is the co-founder of the Bight of Benin, the West African restaurant based in the center of Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. Visit that place and, have yourself some jollof rice that she keeps talking about and the soup. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will talk to Linda a little bit about being a lawyer and crossing over to food on the change management part of the program. And of course, we'll close the program with the transformation. How does she cause transformation wherever she is in the world? Stay right there. I'll be right back after the break. What is leadership to you?
Well, leadership is number one, walking the talk. I think there are too many people who talk the talk, but not enough people walk the talk. So you have to be a leader. Leadership has to be seen. It has to be felt. It's something you have to learn from. Leadership is being responsible for, your actions, your decisions, being able to back them up, being able to see other people's strengths, to bring out the best in your team, your family, your friends. That's leadership. You have to be able to identify people's unique talents, unique gifts, and bring out the best in them. To me, that's what I think of leadership.
Welcome back from that break. This is CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okila, and in the studio is Linda Thibault, who is the co-founder and the CEO of the Bight of Benin, a West African restaurant in Kampala, live on the CEO Bench. Linda, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Eddie.
We broke down the leadership quite a little bit, and it was very interesting to hear your perspective on the leadership. This program exists to bring people like you who are at a certain level of growth, certain level of achievement, certain level of exposure to this program to share with us your experience that you have been through in life. I want to switch gear a little bit and perhaps go to the belt or the shoe that you wear or you tie called the lawyer. How do you move from being a lawyer to going to restaurant? I mean, did you ever practice law? Why did you run away from law? Let's take us through this journey of changing from, you know, being a lawyer to being now a restaurant owner and being passionate about food. What was the switch? First of all, let's start from the law perspective. Why did you move from law? Law is different, food is completely different.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't moved from law. I will always be a lawyer. The reason why I say that is, for as long as I can remember, when I look through my old notebooks from primary school, in the margin I've written, "Oh my Lord, I hereby present." I always loved it. So I knew I would be a lawyer eventually. When I was applying to university, you get 3 options. So I had law, and then my dad goes, "What if you don't get law?" I said, "I will get law." He said, "Put something else." I'm like, "Okay, international relations." But I knew I was going to get into do law. So it is my passion, and I will always be a lawyer. So I haven't run away from law. So though I don't practice here in Uganda, I still maintain my legal consultancy. So I was in Ghana, qualified to practice also in Ghana, set up a law firm. It's called Integrated Legal Consultants. It's still running there. So we moved to Uganda, and Uganda has a bit of a peculiar legal system, so I'm unable to practice here. But in the meantime, what I did was I did a lot of volunteer work, still do. Got involved. I was chairperson of the board of an international school here, which also helped with that aspect. So my legal consultancy still works. I sometimes give technical feedback, especially when I get inquiries from colleagues I've met over, like in Turin, in Ghana, some in Congo, Nigeria, here sometimes. I'm part of an organization called ITAS LF. It is the first private legal funding firm in Africa. So I'm here. There's a gentleman in Nigeria. There are 2 other people, one in the UK and then one in the US. I also did a stint with the Uganda Carbon Bureau. So it works on carbon credits, improved cook stoves of East Africa. So like briquettes, improved cook stove actually to help safeguard against pollution and all that. So I still am a lawyer. I haven't moved, I haven't jumped. So the restaurant business is another facet, right? And I think it comes back to being able to be curious about learning and other opportunities, or getting, because for me it was a 360 moving to the restaurant business. Yeah.
I want to just take you back a little bit, Linda, just to talk about education. I mean, you talked about becoming a lawyer. If you will take us back, I know you touched it a little bit about from childhood, you always wrote in a small notebook of how you want to be a lawyer, and you know, my Lord, all of us had dreams, and dreams died, and then children. So we want you to share that a little bit with us. How does one get their dream from childhood to living it like you are doing right now? The dream of being a lawyer, dreaming of being a lawyer and being attracted to law, and actually living it all through, and actually becoming an actual lawyer and practicing it. Take us through that journey of education and how you ended up here.
I'm very fortunate to be born in the family I am. My parents, civil servants, but very focused about education and nurturing, and literally nurturing and pushing us to what we wanted to be, right? Well, apart from my sister who said she wanted to be a vet doctor, it was like, they're going to look after dogs. You know how it was in Africa, like, but now it's a different ball game, right?
Yes.
There's a book I think I read, I think it was Jeffrey Archer. I'm trying to remember which, I love reading books, I'm trying to remember which of his titles, but there was a phrase in there, one of his protagonists said, but for an accident of birth, there you go. So I could have been born in a different family, different situation. Would I have had the same opportunities? I don't know. But my parents, I mean, when they knew, I think I talked everybody's ears off. I really wanted to be a lawyer right from when I was pretty small. They never said you couldn't do it. Like, okay, fine. You want to read law? It wasn't a question of is it expensive, or do you think you're good enough to do it? You want to be a lawyer? Fine, you want to be a lawyer. Chase after it, right?
What attracted you to law at a very young age?
I think it was watch all those law programs, then you stand in front, and then you mimic what they're saying, literally, Then it became reality for me when I applied to university, got the scores to get in for that particular course, and I enjoyed it throughout. Got to law school in Lagos, and then you meet people from all over Nigeria, all over West Africa, actually all over, because we had people from different countries also come to study at the law school. Then also meeting different people at different stages of my practice. I worked for one of the top 5 law firms at the time in Lagos, Ajumogobi and Okeke. And I remember somebody asking, but how did you get into the firm? And I sarcastically said, I wrote an application and I was invited, and here I am. At Ajumogobi and Okeke, I got opportunities to do transactions I hadn't experienced before. The partners were willing to push you as much as you wanted to be pushed. So basically it was you pick it up and you move. I'm still in touch with a lot of my former colleagues. Each time someone sees it on my CV, I've been places where like, oh, you worked for Ajumogobi and Okeke, and I'm like, yes, okay, oh, that's interesting. It sort of gives you a cachet, right? So from Ajumogobi and Okeke, we left the country after we got married, and then sort of have trapezed around a bit. Some countries I couldn't practice, some I could, Ghana for example. And it was, so we set up a firm, and the opportunities that came in, the partner I met and we started the business together was really very good. Then we had to leave again. Eventually, and how would I put it? Law is like maths. It touches every facet of life, right? In whether or not, I know some people don't have a good opinion about lawyers, but it does touch every facet of your life. You need a lawyer. Forget about the expense, but you always need a lawyer to give you a different perspective, whether to play the devil's advocate or not. And I think the sooner people sort of tend to see the importance of having a lawyer advise you, I think the better it will be for a lot of people. Yeah.
I want to pick it from that point. Just parents are always wondering about their children, and sometimes parents in Africa tend to decide where they want their children to go. You have to be a lawyer, you have to be an engineer, you've got to be a doctor. You cannot be a musician because that you're going to be
that was before
life. Yes, that was before. Now musicians are making more money.
I mean, Afrobeat has exploded. So let's not even go there.
Yes. I seen recently. Trevor Noah wrote to his grandma and says, "Grandma, please note this is my house now, living in the US. This house is not owned by a doctor, not owned by lawyers, it's owned by a comedian." He was sending a very strong message to everyone in Africa, literally, or parents, to say, look, don't stop your children from doing that. But would you advise your children, or would you help, if your child was beginning to be like Linda Bott, mimicking lawyers in court of law while watching TV, would you nurture that in them, or would you kill them? Or if your child is busy singing and trying to be like Jose Camilo, trying to be like whoever is, or would you nurture that talent in them? Or what if they're trying to be like Eddie Okila, be in front of the camera to talk to people? Would you nurture that in them when you says, no, you got to be a lawyer?
I would nurture it, and reason why I say that, I experienced it with my parents, my siblings and I all experienced it. Particularly when you see the many possibilities now, why wouldn't you? If you're able to, and sometimes it's not about the resources, it's about the encouragement. Okay, if you create that environment where your child can actually be silly and goof and say, okay, I'm going to sing, and they're singing, you know that, okay, this is not going to work, and then you have a joke about it, right? But when you do actually understand and identify that innate talent, I think is the word I would use, right? Because we all have something that we naturally are good at, okay? I'm not naturally good at numbers, so I'm so grateful Lord did not insist we did maths, because that would have been a big problem, right? But I'll give an example with my kids. One of my daughters writes very well. She actually has published an anthology of poems. My other daughter is a very good athlete. right? She's a very good artist. She draws, actually both of them. My professor of a son, which is what we call him, he's very quiet, very introspective, and you can see his computer sort of interest coming in, right? And my other daughter too. So it's more like you're trying to juggle, okay, which one should I nurture, which one? But I think if you create that enabling environment that they can actually feel free to express themselves. To say, okay, let me try this. I mean, I don't mean like you skip and hop over the different things, but you do identify and say, okay, like this 3 or 4, I think, or even 2, this looks like a good chance, right? That this child will be able to enjoy it, right? Not just enjoy, because that's critical for the child to be able to enjoy it, but also to say, if I took this person to a professional who understands, who has the expertise in that particular, would they also see the same thing I see in my child? Okay, I'll give you a practical example. So I'm sure like most of us, so my kids will come and before it to be, oh, I'm interested in the piano, the guitar, blah, blah, blah. So one day I say, okay guys, that's it. We're not buying any flute again or any guitar or anything. If you decide, I say you're at the point now where you can see that you are actually interested, right? If you really show that interest, I will look for the money and buy that piano for you, and we will sit down together. And they said, I said, yes, I am interested in learning the piano. But if you do show me your interest and capacity and capability to actually sit down and practice, you know, the 10,000 hours you've heard about in the outliers, if you're able to do that, I'll look for the money and buy that piano. Yeah. So it's actually nurturing your child and giving them that enabling environment that would allow them to be free to express themselves.
Wow.
I got that as a child, and I'm trying to do that for my
So
kids.
would you advise every parent out there looking at you right now to say, this is something you need to do, parents? Or you're going to say, yeah, so you just let them be laissez-faire, you know?
I think it's a personal decision for each parent, each family. Every child is different. Every family is different. So this is what I think will work for me. It's frustrating because kids will flit from one subject to the other, but it's for you to, like I say, just create that environment that allows them to express themselves with confidence. Confidence is key.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Linda. And to everybody who is joining us from all across the world, this is the CEO Bench. We're talking to Linda Thibault, who is the co-founder of a business in Kampala, a Western Africa business, West Africa business in Kampala, the Bight of Benin. If you haven't been able to eat some really hot, hard food, you need to go there. If you just don't know how to get to Nigeria, you may as well just, you know, go to the Bight of Benin and have a taste of Nigeria. And if you don't have an air ticket, please look at the table. Take your air ticket there and give it to Linda. Linda will definitely enjoy it. There's a lawyer who was crossed into business, and we're going to get into that. But we want to hear from you. Send us your kisses and disses coming for Linda and for myself. If you think we're doing good, kiss us. If you think we're not doing good, diss us. We're okay with it. All right? We're happy with Linda is saying, no, no dissing here. No. We like to hear from you. But Linda, let's touch a little bit about law and the master. You practice law at a certain level. Can we touch that a little bit before we go to food and flip to that to food?
Okay, I'll time you. 30 seconds.
Yes.
Go in.
Who does law? Go and does the masters and then come and go to food. What are you looking for in food? I mean, lawyers are good with that. We're learned friends. We don't.
We are learning.
We learn friends.
Yes, we are learning.
We're learned friends who don't do these things. But
for
yeah,
us, you are educated.
Have friends who we're tired of lawyers always flossing and telling us all these things. But yeah, you're in food, so why go for masters and then come back to food?
So as the rest of us will say, you are educated. Yes. We are learning.
Yes.
Okay, so masters. I've always wanted to do a masters, PhD somewhere down the road. Who knows? Maybe we'll see what happens. So for the masters, one of the programs in Turin, I loved it. It gives you, it's flexible, so you have parts of it online and then parts of it face to face, and it was really good. Yes. I loved the experience, loved the people I met, the lecturers and all. Yes. Came back and initially when we came here, I was looking for a 9 to 5 because I'm a lawyer. That's, you know, you go, you practice your law. I was interested in getting back to practice, which is what I really enjoy doing, still do. It wasn't happening. So for various reasons, some of them personal, I went off, did the masters, came back. Because I remember there was an interview I went for, and one of it was, oh, yes, you met this, it was for an international position, and oh, if you had the masters. I'm like, really? Okay, coming along.
I'm going to do the masters.
But I love the masters program, and I love the particular one. So came back, wasn't happening, so I just continued with my consultancy, dabbled a bit into real estate, because I often get inquiries from people from outside of Uganda, or from the people I've met in the various sectors I've worked in, asking either for real estate opportunities here, or real estate opportunities in Ghana, in Congo, Nigeria, right? So I've sort of put myself in those spaces. So an opportunity came up at this current location where we are at, Plot 20, Chadondo Road. And there used to be another West African restaurant there called Mama Shanti, which had been there for quite a number of years. So when it came up, we sat down, looked at it, did our plan, and said, okay, this is worth a shot.
This is when you had failed to practice in Uganda.
I still fail to practice in Uganda. Well, like I said, that's a different topic.
yes.
So when we sat and talked about it, myself and the other co-founders said, okay, let's give it a shot. But the deal was I had to run it myself, and I was like, sorry, excuse me, I'm a lawyer. I love hosting at home, or hosting, because my husband's job entails that, hosting a lot. And I said, this is a totally different ball game. So my husband said, but I know you can do it. I'm like, I love your your faith and confidence in me. But we sat and looked at it, and I said, okay, this is something that is completely different from anything I've ever done, as in completely different. Let's try it. And I will tell you, it's been an interesting learning curve, because I'll make you laugh. The first few, I think maybe first month or two that I get to the Bight, I'll suit up like a lawyer. I'm not kidding. It was after.
This is a restaurant manager showing up like a lawyer. You scared all the customers.
You know, when I think about it, I just cringe and go, like, seriously? Anyway, but that was how formally serious I took it, you know? But then I sort of relaxed. But what I told the staff was, I said, guys, I've not done this before. You all have done this. You've said you're bringing your experience here. So I will come to you with different questions, because I'm not ashamed to ask for questions. And for me, I think that's one of the critical things. If you're willing to learn, you're willing to ask questions in any sphere you are in, then you've cracked half of your issue, or solved half of the problem, right? So sometimes I'll ask them, okay, you're talking about mise en place. What is that? They look at me like, I said, it's a serious question. I'm not being sarcastic. It is a serious question. Or what was it? Overage, overage, right? Yes. And I'll go in English. What does that mean? You know, then, you know, so literally I was going step by step in each of the departments to try and understand what it is. I went to Mama Shanti, Nairobi. It's an amazing West African restaurant. If you guys ever get a chance to get there, they're one of my co-investors. So I went there for training and shadowed the manager there, just to see what has been done, how it's been done. Of course, it wasn't overnight. I had a big notebook that I'd follow. Then I'll call him from time to time and say, okay, you did this. What about this? So literally, I was calling him every day. So a few months back, he said, have you noticed you haven't called me every day? And then that was when I realized, okay, I've moved from the panic, well, not panic, I've moved from the sort of strict hand-holding at every point to now maybe I have just the safety belts behind me, you know. But honestly, it's a very interesting experience, very interesting experience. And I think it's also related to law practice, because what you're doing is you're networking, you're serving. Forget the fact that yes, we say we're learned, you guys are educated, right?
Yeah, I know you're looking down on us right now. Even the way you express it, it's okay.
No, we don't look down at you, our educated friends. You know,
yeah.
But seriously, it's okay. So you're in your legal practice, you're networking. In the restaurant business, I am networking. In your business, you're networking. So it's just a different type of networking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Linda. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Linda and I are going to dive into this hot food called jollof rice. There are many names. We're going to switch gear a little bit and start speaking some pidgin English, and then go to Nigeria. And we'll be right back after this. This is a CEO Bench, Eddie Okila, Linda Tibot, straight from the Bight of Benin in Kampala, where you can go and have your lunch this afternoon or tomorrow or the next day. Whenever you're here in Kampala or here in any part of this, world, please visit them and you'll be amazed. We'll be right back after this break.
These situations that come that are unexpected are innovation challenges. And so for me, I'm always in that mode of, okay, so this is what needs to be figured out. So you should quickly jump into, problem solving and solution finding mode, because that's the truth. It's just an innovation challenge. Maybe it's a huge competitor that comes into your market. Maybe it's a huge disruptor like COVID that then lands and, disrupts your entire plan for the year. At the end of the day, it's still just an innovation challenge. So these are the cards that you have. Make the most with them.
Wow.
And then let the clock start.
It is a CEO Bench, Eddie Okila, Linda Tibot in the studio. We're talking about change management, leadership and transformation. And of course, Linda is from the Bight of Benin, a West African restaurant based in the capital city of Kampala, Uganda, in the Pearl of Africa. If you haven't been to Uganda, then you don't know what you're missing in the African continent. You can see Linda's a restaurant in Kampala. So, and then switching from law to food, this really shows you that we are a place to visit. But aside from that, Linda, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
We're going to dive into the restaurant business. First, we need to serve you some coffee, so please.
Is this fresh from Africa?
Yes.
West Africa?
This is no. This is fresh from Bududa, and since the French is talking about the new Africa, France relationship, we decided we need to have a French press in this thing, so that we can put the French to their cold.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. And so you can also pour a cup of coffee for yourself, and we like to make the CEOs feel okay, and Linda is in the studio feeling okay. Take a drink, because the West African food is really hot. We know that.
It depends.
Yes.
as my master's law lecturer would say, it depends.
Yes. But I want to take you straight, Linda, first, in fact, on that question. The Nigerian food, the West African food in Kampala, do you have customers? Because you have food. One time I was in Nigeria, you guys, let me tell you the story. So in Nigeria, and we walked into a restaurant, and they said they give you water, you wash your hands very nicely, and then
why are you laughing?
There's a big people in suits. We're all in suits, and like guys starts removing their jacket off.
Oh, that should have won you.
Yes. And then the other guys, the people are standing nicely. Service guys doing this stuff. You remove your jacket off, you give it to this gentleman. and then you remove your tie off, you give it to the gentleman. Remove your shirt off, you give it. Then you're given the towel. I'm like, yo, Oga, what we're doing now in this restaurant? I said, no, you're going to eat food. This is how we do it here. I was like, no. This is like I'm going to be kidnapped.
Oh gosh.
When we went inside to eat food, everyone was eating food, but they were crying. They were sweating like.
It was tears of joy. You know, it was tears of the joy from the taste, the amazing taste of that.
Let's talk about change management from the West African food. Let's talk about the Bight of Benin itself now. That food, I don't know, you know, Africa has its dynamic. We have so many other tribes in Africa, different cuisines in Africa here as a continent. You cannot finish. Uganda alone has 54 of them. You can't even finish. These 54 have sub-dishes, not everything is there. But the Bight of Benin in Kampala, what is it about? What are you serving? Why the Bight of Benin? Tell us more about this restaurant.
Okay. First of all, the name Bight of Benin, we were deliberate about the name, right? It's a play on the word to bite, but there's actually a body of water called the Bight of Benin, which is situated within the greater Gulf of Guinea on the coast of West Africa. So it's either called the Bight.
That's the only time I learned the only thing I respect from my history. These other things I don't respect. Because now you're talking about,
So it's either the Bight or the Bay of Benin, but we named it Bight of Benin, and it's always a great conversation starter, right? So our intention is to offer food across the 16 West African countries, right? We have foods that are common to us. We have the jollof rice, we'll talk about that. We have the different sauces. So what you will find is maybe slight differences in the technique or some of the ingredients used.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's what the Bight of Benin is all about.
Yes.
Why did you decide to put this restaurant in Kampala, not anywhere else?
First, we're based here in Uganda, but more importantly, we wanted to set up a place where you would come in and explore West African food. So the Bight of Benin is not just about food. Our plan actually is to have it as a center where you will have the arts, so music, spoken word, poetry, artists, painters, sort of like a gallery also, showcasing what we have in West Africa. That is the overall plan for the Bight of Benin. So it's not just about food, but actually bringing West Africa to Uganda, to East Africa. Yeah.
Okay.
One dish at a time.
Wow. One dish at a time.
One dish at a
time.
time.
The West Africans always want to own Africa.
Sorry, a sip of coffee.
You always want to own Africa. We want to know, is it because you feel like the rest of the East Africa and South Africa and the Central Africa are not doing a good job in marketing Africa, or you guys just say we're going to take over? We're going to take over, though, guy. If
at all.
Let's talk about this.
At all. So the average West African, like I said, right? I've had instances where because we are, should I say overly confident? Well, I don't think we're overly confident, but there's that confidence in who you are as a person, right? And you just walk up and, I've heard stories of, my auntie was in Russia at some point. There was an Igbo man selling plantain, gonja, in Siberia. We don't have snow in Nigeria. Not Siberia quality snow. No. You understand? So I think it's not that we want to own the rest of Africa. We're just outgoing and embracing with love. No. But I think most West Africans are quite adventurous. But I think it's also common to a lot of Africans. Maybe it's just that we were very boisterous about it. I wouldn't use the word loud. So some people take it that is being arrogant about it, but no. If you get to know a West African, what you see is what you get, and we're open about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Bight of Benin and the dishes served at the Bight of Benin. I mean, some pictures, we're going to put some pictures up there, and when I posted about you, so many of my friends were like, "Oh, you're bringing Linda! Wow!"
Oh, thank you guys.
Let's look at the plates there. Can you take us through what is this, Linda? I mean, it's just too busy. This is like
now
luxurious.
This is a feast, not just for the eyes.
Now,
but
guys,
this is a feast for you and the stomach. So we have so that's the Ghana peanut soup, and it's served in that bowl. It's an earthenware bowl, right?
How is it prepared?
you'd have to don on your apron and please do report at the Bight of Benin. Let me know when you're able to. We shall organize that. And of course, a bowl of pepper soup. So yes, pepper soup, as the name says, it is pepper soup, right? But it's spicy. It's spicy and it's fragrant. It's nose tingling. It's described that way, and it is nose tingling. What I love is, so it makes you sweat, right? But you see, it's a spicy, flavorful dish. You know, you can get food that is hot and that's it. There's no flavor to it.
Yeah, you Nigerian make us eating kamulari in Uganda like nothing.
No, we don't.
Your food is like
we don't. We don't do kamulari, right? What we do is, what do you call it? We season the dish with the peppers. And can I say, in Uganda you have amazing, lovely chilies, right? The habaneros, the orange one. Oh, it's the fragrance, the bouquet is amazing, right? The green one, there's a particular sauce made in Nigeria with that, but it's called ayamase or fada sauce, right? Then the red ones. But what I've noticed in the difference in Ugandan chili is that it burns and then it eases off.
Okay.
The West African one will remind you.
So what is this?
Now this is
what this one look nice, dogga.
This one a correct dish. It's on a correct dish, correct dish. So there is the jollof rice, which we will talk about, right? So we have this package at the Bight of Benin. It's called Jollof 30. So every Thursday, you get portions of jollof rice, stir-fried chicken or stir-fried beef, party plantain, and then either spinach sauce or coleslaw. We have both vegetarian and non-vegetarian. So the vegetarian one, we have tofu, which is made out of soya beans. I call it the vegetarian chicken, right? And we make it different ways. We have it both in the spinach sauce or as a stew, or we grill it as suya. Suya is common to West Africa, right? And this whole package you get for 30,000 every Thursday. So this is an introduction to West Africa, if you will, if you haven't had West African food.
Okay. Wow. I mean, it looks tasty for some people.
It is very tasty.
Very inviting, but I can also warn you that this food is hot.
Well, you see, at the Bight of Benin, we allow you to dial your spiciness, but don't come and order Linda's level. No.
All right, so let's talk about this. What's this, Linda? I mean,
so this is fresh, whole grilled, charcoal grilled fish.
Is that kamulari and all we're seeing? Pepper?
No. This is...
We'll have some kamulari there over and then...
no, so you choose. If you want it with correct chili, we infuse it with the chili. You see, the beauty is you're eating it and, you know, it's... So we have the whole grilled fish and it's filling. I find just for one person, it's sufficient actually.
Okay. So this is all the dishes from...
This is some of the dishes from West
Africa. Yes. So what if I am coming to West Africa, or maybe I don't have the air ticket to go to West Africa? First of all, it's very difficult to get to West Africa because there's no direct flight, unfortunately, to Nigeria. We hope that Uganda Airlines is going to come up with one that Ugandans can actually move. Some of us have been lucky to go to Nigeria, to go to a bit of Ghana, and to experience a bit of West Africa. I mean, volleyball has been able to take me all across the world.
Oh, excellent.
And through volleyball, I met people like Timothy. Oh man, he's a Nigerian guy, he's a referee, he's loud. And when it comes to food, we're with Timothy in Algeria, and Timothy diss everyone in Algeria.
But in a good way.
I go come to this country to eat food, and this will go give me this food that don't even taste anything. What's wrong with you guys? Not even in Africa though. I like Timothy. Just relax.
Leave people at their food alone. I know.
And Timothy was not happy at all. But so we don't have a direct flight, but we want to experience. So for a person who just want to if I can't board a bus to go to West Africa, which dish would you give me that when I come, okay, what is the introduction to the true West African food? So, like if you come to my home area, they'll give you malakwang and corn, and you will enjoy. If you go to Buganda here, they'll give you matoke and luombo. If you go to the western part of Uganda, they'll give you ishagwe and some other mixed things, you know. If you go to, Busoga, they will give you some mboli and,
I hear you.
Yes.
So if you came to... Not if
the Bight of Benin in Kampala.
You're welcome to the Bight of Benin. Please, I do hope you come. Jollof rice, right, is an introduction to West Africa, right? And I know there's this seeming feud about jollof rice. Well, let me say this, okay?
Can we just have a picture of jollof rice somewhere up there?
Jollof rice, funny enough, jollof is originally
what does it mean?
From the Wolof Kingdom in Senegal.
Wow.
But the Nigerians and the Ghanaians collected it and moved forward with it. Okay?
Typical of Nigerians always.
And Ghanaians, we moved forward with it. So like the other day, I told someone, right? When he came, he said, which jollof rice do you have? So I told him, I said, there's only one jollof. I told him, I said, there's only one king and there are many contenders. Being Nigerian, I mean, it's obvious. It is a jollof rice. Before the Ghanaians will come for me. No, but I would say start with jollof rice. Then I also always ask people to try the stews. So we do tomato stew. Now, West African tomato stew is heavy on tomatoes. We use a lot of tomatoes. I'll give you an example. If I was using, say, 4 kilos of tomatoes, right? I would put in maybe 2 kilos of onions.
So which one is jollof rice from here?
It's the one on the left.
Do you have a picture of it? I think we have a picture of jollof rice somewhere.
Yeah, certainly.
Right,
so I'll just quickly run over. There's jollof rice. There's egusi soup in front, which looks like scrambled eggs. That's the feedback I get. But that is not eggs. That's actually a type of melon seed from West Africa that we grind and then mix.
So this is the jollof rice.
This is jollof rice. So that red color comes from the tomatoes. We don't add any food coloring because I've had questions on that. So that comes from it, and then we use because we don't have what we call tatashe, which is the big red peppers we use in Nigeria, which is deep red color. We use the red capsicum here, the red bell peppers. It sort of gives us that same color, but not quite. But hey, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So talking of that, Linda, as we come to the end of the show, what are you looking forward to with this restaurant in Kampala? What do you want to achieve with this restaurant in Kampala besides money?
Well, that's a good point. First is to make body well. For you to understand what make body well means, you need to come to Bight of Benin.
What I mean that body well? Body well, that meaning what?
At all. Make body well. Come to the Bight of Benin. We'll talk about that, and you will make body well. No worry. But the intention actually is to introduce West Africa one dish at a time to East Africa. There's a lot of commonality actually between our meals, right? Well, not our meals, but the ingredients. I'll give you an example. Bitter leaf. It's called mururuza here or bombo. The first reaction when I mention it is, it's bitter, and I say yes. But there's a way we wash it and use it with the sauce we use, which is the egusi, right? And when you eat it, it leaves a sweet aftertaste. There's also water leaf. I honestly have forgotten the botanical name to it, right? But each time I point it out, people say it's a weed, and I say, when you find that weed, please bring it to me. We use it to cook, right? Stuff like the hibiscus. We use it to make zoborodo. Zoborodo is a drink. So at the Bight, we call them Bight seals. We don't do cocktails. And it goes perfectly well with the make body well. So our intention at the Bight of Benin is to introduce West Africa to East Africa one dish at a time. Come experience West Africa. The pepper soup also, we'll dial it back a bit for you. We can have maybe a tub of yogurt or some milk. Now this is called Chapman. It's an iconic Nigerian drink. Most Nigerians, when they walk in, it brings back childhood memories for us, you know, only at the Bight of Benin. So come, make me shake body. But this one is the correct one. It's the correct one. I take you make body well. You're good to go.
So then I have a question to you here from, we call himself, he's called the king of the house of Kirunda. That's how he called himself.
King of boys.
Yes. And he's a very good friend of mine. This is, he's called Leo Kirunda. Says, you know, ask Oga that Oga. Make body well. What is make body well? So let's talk about what is make body well. Because this seems to be, everyone who comes to Bight of Benin or went to West Africa comes back asking make body well. Yes. So what's make body well?
So my mom, she retired as an English lecturer in Nigeria, and she loves cooking. My grandmother actually set up a hotel cum restaurant she also loved cooking, right? So my mom got into cooking competitions, actually.
Yes.
I've actually found instances where people don't know her name, but she has this dish which is a very tasty, flavorful, spicy. Either she could do chicken or goat, but often was chicken, called Make Body Well. Right? So she actually wrote a recipe book, you know. And when we set up the restaurant, I told her, I said, there's a dish I'm going to name after. And she had a laugh. I said, no, I'm serious, right? So that is it. Make Body Well. It's a goat platter we have at the Bight of Benin. It's,
Leo is saying you'll thank me later when you ask her that question.
And then Leo, can't chop her more. We dial it back, but can't chop her. We do it. We do it.
Okay, Linda. So once again, we're talking about the transformation, of course, you know, here. What is your ideal transformation as a person? First of all, as a lawyer, you know, and then as a restaurant owner, as a food, you know, enthusiast now, businesswoman. You know, what is your ideal understanding of transformation with everything that you do as a person, to the community, to individuals, to the nation? When I thought about this,
we're not thinking.
Yeah.
Transformation. It has so many meanings behind it.
With everything you do,
being able to, okay, so I'll give you very quick example is if we're able to, as Bight of Benin, for example, able to get Ugandans or people living in Kampala in Uganda comfortable and confident to walk into the Bight and say, I'd like to try this. Okay, that's one aspect of transformation. Okay, if as Bight of Benin we're also able to train cooks and chefs who are versed in West African food and fusing it in some aspects with the food from Uganda, right? From time to time, that is some transformation also.
All right. And I mean, just to ask this question, somebody just sent me this question. Says, Eddie Okila, thank you very much. He's written some very hard Nigerian word. This is surely a Nigerian in Kampala. Says, yeah, that sister of mine is doing a great job.
Thank you.
Just like most Nigerians come here and you know, involved in many things, but we love the fact that she's trying to make the West African culture quite very eminent in Kampala. We enjoy it, we love it. One question for me, for Linda, will she ever go back to law? Because we think she's just practicing this because there is no room for her to go back to law. Yes. Are you going to leave this thing and go back to law? You'll continue?
Like I said, I never left law.
Yes.
Right? I'm not 100% engaged in law as I was in the beginning, right? So the plan is, because I'm operations director at the Bight of Benin, is for the manager to take it and run with it. And you see, that's where the transformation happens. They're actually able to hand over your vision, right, of the Bight of Benin to a team that will run with it. Once you do that, the transformation is complete.
Wow.
Yeah.
One more question, Linda. Thank you very much, Eddie Okila, for bringing Linda to the show. And you got about 200 questions coming from Nigerians. I can't read all of them, guys.
Pidgin English there.
Yes. But I want to try this one out. So this is coming from somebody, a Nigerian based in London, Eastern London. He's saying, thank you very much. I didn't know that there's a Nigerian in Uganda actually making us proud. We Nigerian or go take over whenever we go.
Not the talk that one, no.
Yes. And but our question is very interesting. It says, I love what my sister there is doing. Eddie, I just want to know from her. She's not talked about the goat we eat with the skin, with the you know. She need to sell. That is the real, true Nigerian food.
Yes. So thank you very much.
So this goat here we eat. How do you eat a goat with skin, Linda?
Oh, how not?
No.
You just no. You use your cutlery cutout and you eat it. So for us, when we make,
she's saying that is a real traditional West African food.
Yes,
that's scary.
It's not, but you see, that's the thing, right? If you're open about food, and I'll tell you this, for me, I'm always willing to try new food, as long as I know the ingredients, which is why when you come to the Bight of Benin, our menu is descriptive. Okay, which is why I've written in there mururuza or bitter leaf, so you know instantly, okay, this is happening. Then okay, so like we have eforiro, right?
Yes, yes.
Eforiro is a one-pot flavorful soup, right? With spinach in it. It has everything inside. It has tripe, it has cow skin, it has offals. Yes, we do use that, right?
But yo, sister, cow skin.
Yes.
Okay, you know how cow skin were to
No. You see, they always ask me, well, we use it to make leather. We eat in Nigeria. We eat half.
You're eating her shoes.
No, we eat half of the cow skin. We make leather with the other half. But it's
only in Nigeria.
Only West Africa.
Yeah, only West Africa, especially.
So, and you see, even the cow tail, we get the cow tail with the skin. I don't know. I've lost count of how many times I've laughed.
Yes.
Cow skin, or rather, no, oxtail.
Yes.
With the skin on. Yes, it's delicious. Yes. The goat pepper soup, we make it with the skin. Now that is where you get the real flavor of the goat, or as we say in Nigeria, the perfume. The perfume you know, and we do what we call, so sometimes we actually roast the whole goat.
Yes.
So before COVID, or rather as I tell people, there's BCC, which is before COVID and curfew. There's DCC, which is during COVID and curfew, which is where we're at now. I'm sincerely praying for
so you're not looking for after COVID.
Thank you, and curfew, right? So we used to have concerts at the Bight of Benin. We had one every month from September. It was quite popular. One Friday a month, right? And we'd have this huge goat at the back. Somersaulting, my Nigerian people know, somersaulting goat, somersaulting chicken, you know? Yes. And it was absolutely lovely. With COVID, curfew and all, the world has changed, right? Yes. So, excuse me. We're trying to see how to get back on track. Okay, how do we get back on track? We've been literally, it's a dance.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sure I remember I told you the other day. I said each time there's a lockdown, we don't reopen, we restart. And I'm just wondering how many times we're going to restart. So we've gone from hanging on by our fingernails to now by our fingertips, and the muzzle pull is becoming a bit heavy. You know. One of the things that has helped, and I think I mentioned this to you, for us to get in towards something. There's an organization I think I mentioned to you. It's called BNI. I think you should have a word with them. It's called Business Network International. We joined in June, and it's a network for business owners. It's global, and it is working. Okay, so for us, it's bringing us, or rather helping us, to come back to a new Bight of Benin, because the old normal has gone. We're not going back to, so each time someone says we're going, oh, the new normal, there's no new normal. It's a new way of doing business, right? So a new way for you also to do business is come and chop that goat pepper soup with skin on it.
But I want to just wrap up the show with somebody just called me, sent me a message here, and I just want to read this quite quickly. And he's saying it's a private message. I mean, people like to send private messages, and so he's saying, Eddie Okila, thank you so much. I have a comment. There's a number of comments on YouTube. I'm just going to go to YouTube, guys, and to all the guys on Twitter. Thank you very much, first of all, for following the show. I want to take you straight to some of these comments that are coming on YouTube, which are very interesting. But one of them, somebody saying, "Can Linda please explain to us what really is making the goat with pepper with the skin means?" Do these guys eat the goat with the skin? This is the reason why we have shortage of leather. I have one coming from Mediwato Chom. Law and food are a good mix after all. There is a growing jurisprudence on the right to food. Anyway, anyone needs to diversify their income streams regardless of their profession. Good job, Linda. That's coming from Mediwato Chom. And then he goes on to say he's a lawyer. I mean, he's a land right.
When he said jurisprudence, I knew.
And he says, I will come for a West African food experience soon to support your business, Linda. Thank you very much. I have another question coming from another person here who says, Eddie Okila, thank you very much. Could you please ask that lady, what do they exactly mean they prepare goat with the skin or cow with the skin? How do you eat a cow with the skin? What happened to the...
I see this is now becoming that... Okay.
So I know Amos Wekesa is curious. When we met with Amos Wekesa, he said he wants to come for it. Amos, you want to go and eat the goat with the skin. How are you going to do this?
I'm laughing my head off now.
So how is this prepared? People want to know how it's prepared. Uganda is actually very stunned right now. I got so many messages, 500 messages on Messenger. Guys, I can't read these messages. This is hilarious.
Guys, can we do this?
Yes.
You guys, Eddie and I will work out a date. We'll have the goat somersaulting with the skin. No, but serious. Okay, so when we cook with the goat, with the skin, right?
Yes.
And then you cook without the skin, there's a difference. The flavor, right? The perfume, as we call it, it actually becomes more intense in the sauce or in the soup. So we're eating good. I'll give you an example. The other day, a group of Nigerians were visiting, and he had ordered for egusi goat. So as I'm wont to do, I walked around. I usually get feedback from clients who are at the restaurant, and I asked if he was okay. And he sort of kept quiet. So I now switch over and I said, bros, talk to me now. What's in the happen? So he said, hey, now they talk. I said, how far? He said, that goat egusi. I said, what about it? He said, it didn't taste like egusi goat. I said, I know, because we didn't cook the goat meat in the egusi soup. So when you cook the goat with the skin in the sauce, right, it imparts a particular flavor to it. They can quickly identify and say, this is goat. Okay? So for us, that is it. You can take it out, but really and truly, West African will ask you, who did I offend that you're bringing to me without this? I bet who I offend.
All right. Wow. Linda, thank you so much. So what is the one last word we can pick from you going forward? If you just look into this camera and just tell us the three things we should pick from you, crossing from law, like Diwato Choma said, to, food. And he says with all these food rights coming, we need a lawyer to be in that space to sort of like understand the, the cross mix between the two. But we just want to know from you, what are those three things you want to leave us with here about our culture? Africans are not very proud of our culture. West African people are very proud of their culture. The East African people are not very proud of their culture. Why? Also because we have, take for example in Uganda, we have too many, cultural diversity because of the 54 tribes. Everybody has a language, everybody has a food, which is a plus, but also is a minus at some time because we then don't learn from other people. We tend to be very strict with what we have here. What is that one thing that you want us to learn from a cross-cultural point of view? Food, law, and that one thing you want to leave us with? Somebody who is stuck in their corporate job, somebody who doesn't know how to go out and become very diversified like Linda. The camera is all yours.
Open to learning, I think, is what I would say. And open to learning cuts across, whether it's culture, whether it's in a corporate organization, whether it's personal, right? You say 54 tribes in Uganda. Yeah. Should I tell you how many we are in Nigeria?
Yes.
It's in the 200s and counted.
Yes.
For example, okay, what I see, especially in West Africa, and I see this among a lot of my friends, even family growing up, you'll walk into somebody's house, right, and they're cooking jollof rice, and you're like, that thing is banging, what did you put inside? It could just be a different ingredient. Like my sister, for example, she taught me how to use tons of onions in my jollof rice. So the onion will sweeten the tomatoes and cuts across the acidity. It's always in either the technique or a particular ingredient you've added. And why am I saying this? You're open to learning. It will cut across, whether it's culture, whether it's food, whether it's a person, whether it's in your personal life, corporate, whatever. Open to learning. That's the word I'll use. Look at a toddler or a young kid, for example. They're not afraid to learn. They're not afraid to ask questions. If we as adults sort of get back to that, we'll be open to tasting other foods from other cultures, open to goat with the skin on, open to pepper soup.
All right. Thank you very much, Linda, for coming to the program today.
Thank
and
you.
I want to say thank you very much, everybody, for sharing your love and kisses and disses. I know we are not able to read all your comments, and of course, because of the time, but also we love you that way. You know, keep sharing. We'll definitely be sampling some of them, and Linda will definitely come back. I've seen a lot of requests from your sisters. A lot of Nigerians are saying that you should just be coming here every single Friday. Talk about their food and making their culture, you know, come out of Africa. So this is a nice thing.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Linda, for coming. We want to just take a moment to spread love. We always do this.
Bosa, chop loco. No, like this.
Yes.
No, no, you did it well. You have to put ginger inside.
Not do it properly like this, though.
With ginger inside. No,
Yes,
thank you,
yes,
Eddie.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really loved engaging with you on this, and your pepper soup bowl is waiting.
I'm coming, Oga, now.
You know the pepper soup
I'm
bowl.
gonna go now.
So
Go ahead and-
Eddie will tell you guys
Yes,
how
yes.
the goats with the skin pepper soup went.
Yes.
I shall film him.
In fact, Amos Vekesa is coming to join. I think Vekesa wants to
try that
two
out.
goats with the skin.
And it is on.
Yes, and
It is on.
gone. He said
It is on.
it is gone. So we're gonna try this. Wekesa Amos is going to be our guinea pig. If he dies, we know that he has eaten the
Trust
goat
me.
with the skin.
No. He shall. If that
Jokes
happens,
aside, yes.
he shall be going to food heaven. I promise you. I promise you.
Well, Linda, let's toast to the CEO bench. Thank you very much.
No,
and
thank
to
you.
everybody, we want to say thank you and welcome. Please enjoy your coffee. And until next week, we want to stay blessed and keep yourself safe from the dangers of this world. Don't go with COVID-19. Some things are real, some things are not, but stay focused. The CEO bench has come to an end. Until next week, stay blessed. Eddie Okila, Linda, signing out.